I'm starting a brand new FTMO challenge simulation with a backtesting program called Soft4FX. And this video is 1 week's worth of footage of me basically practice trading, this practice run to improve my entries, my strategy, and all that stuff, to eventually be ready to take a real FTMO challenge. So it's practice time. All right, so basically we're gonna start a new simulation for the month of April 2021, and I'm gonna be trading it as if it was like FTMO conditions. Basically, I'll be trading with 10 lots, and if you get 10 or 11 pips, it's about the equivalent of 1% in US dollars. So it'd be like 600 or 700 in GBP, but if you do the exchange, then it goes up to about 1,000. So I'm going to remove the rewinding option because that is just inviting cheating, and I'm going to set a commission per lot of about 4. So I think that's actually a little high, but whatever. So then you do start, then it's going to load up, and I usually start up with the 15-minute, the 30-minute, and the 1-hour chart. You can do the bigger time frames. I mean, whatever makes sense for your strategy. So you select whichever one, then you click on add, but then you need to come and open them over here, and it's actually going to open them up in your MetaTrader 4 thingy. And so again, I'll be trading with 10 lots, and generally speaking, I'm going to be aiming for a 1-for-1. But take profit of about 10 or 11 pips and a stop loss of 10 pips or less. But again, that's going to be flexible, but I just put it in there so whenever I click buy or sell, it's just going to populate that, and then I can modify it as I see fit. I usually speed up the ticker to about 21 times speed, but when I'm just thinking or watching, so it goes a little bit faster. But when I need to think, I'll either pause it or leave it on 1. And so to take a trade, you click on either buy or sell. If you want to set like a buy stop or a sell stop or something like that, you click on pending, and then you put those numbers in there. Candles. So basically, the white candles are the bearish candles, and the green and black are the bullish candles. So you see right here. So this is kind of the terminal here. And so in the middle here, you have the time and the date. So I'm just going to fast forward to the time of day that I usually trade at, which is 11:30 GMT, which is about 7:30 my time. And it's about an hour and a half before the New York Open. And London session is already opened. So it's right before that, and moving into that overlap of volume for when both those sessions are open. As far as I'm concerned, that's a great time. That's my favorite time to trade, but not everybody can trade at that time. So, you need to figure out what time works for you, and you can choose what kind of time zone you want to use in the simulator. So I just put it on the GMT because I just think it's more simple. But anyway, so right now it's set to 11:30. This is the 1 hour, this is the 30-minute. All right, let me just draw some zones here. So what I see is that now, again, if we go back to the 1 hour, 1 hour is very bullish, like overall. So like it's just pretty much going like that with a couple corrections, but now it's back on the way up. And on the shorter time frames, you see all those all the little candles going down, but they have been going up again. Now I don't like seeing these long wicks, so it's been kind of whippy, so that makes it a little less predictable. But so there's just ranging in this range, and it was just ranging in this range. But so as far as I'm concerned, if a 30-minute candle closes above this level, this would be a good place to take a conservative buy, because it's also I'm more leaning towards buys because it's got more of a bullish trend right now, even though the past couple hours have been a little bearish. but it's looking to want to fill that again, to go back in that direction. That's what it looks like to me right now. So if I just press start, so now it's going at about 20 times speed. So here it looks like we got a 30-minute that closed bearish, and now on the 15 it seems to want to go down. So we've got a couple 15-minute candles that are closing bearish. This one's pushing down. It's early to want to take a sell, but if a 30-minute would close under here, we'd see. But I think it's going to want to close above this level, and if it does, we're likely to have it be going back up. You know, like this is a decent close. It closed above all these other candles. So I think this is a respectable place to take a buy. So I'm just going to take it and go with it. So again, I put it that it automatically populates a 10 pip stop loss. Usually I'd want the stop loss to be under the previous candle, but I mean, I also don't want the stop loss to be too big. And I'm not going to be greedy. So in the simulation, this would basically be my first trade. So I want to secure profit. So I don't want to try and be greedy and grab, you know, 15, 20, 30 pips. I'm just going to take a quick 10 pip, and that would be basically 1% to give it me a buffer in future trades. So I'm just going to press start again and see. Right now, I'd be minus 4 pips. So you can see down here how much the pippage is, and you can flip it to money or pips. So we don't like to see that, but it's still respecting the level. So it's not terrible. And I'd be 3 pips more to my advantage, but it's just one of those things. It's going up. Oh. Man, and this is at 20 times speed, so imagine watching this at 1 time. It's so slow sometimes. So the 15-minute is looking quite bullish. There's a small wick down. Awesome. There you go. So that was a 10 pip trade right there. And to not overtrade, I try to usually only take 1 trade a day. So I mean, if I would have been trading for real today, I'd already been at the charts for a couple hours. So, and like this was a nice move. So depending on what other candles would have done, I mean, a continuation would have been okay. Waiting it for it to come back down and go back up, that would be okay. But I'm just gonna fast forward through a couple candles here just to see how the rest of the day would have gone. Man, so in this particular case, so I opened here, as you can see, took 10 pips, but it would have gone in this case about 24 pips, even higher, 25, 30 pips, and then come back down, then doing this crap. But again, it's a little wonky to do on the simulator, but sometimes what I would do is I would enter a trade, and like when I'm just in MetaTrader 5 or whatever, and I would close 80% of the trade when I'm at 10 pips and just let the rest run and close the rest at about 20 pips or so, or 25. So this would have been a good example of that, because I mean, it doesn't always go 50 pips into profit or whatever, and it's and we're almost at the weekend, and FTMO doesn't let you have trades open on the weekend, pretty sure. So it's good to be in and out of trades, and that way you can go about your day and not worry about anything. But so again, something that I could have done better would have been taking an entry a bit closer to the level here after this close, because then I would have been a bit less in the drawdown and a bit faster to my take profit. But the total possibility would have been close to 25-30 pips depending on the entry. So this ended up being pretty good. But one thing that I could have done better, like I said, is have a runner. So close part of the position in good profit and then let the rest run for, you know, however that would have been 20, 25 pips. And then in total, I would have been net like 13, 14, 15 pips instead of 10. But at the end of the day, it was still a good trade. So if this would have been an FTMO run, I'd be close to 1% up. So now I'm going to click on the save simulation and I'm going to save it somewhere in my computer, and I do that after every trade because it doesn't like autosave. And now basically my trading day for April 1st would be finished. So I'm going to fast forward to the next day 1 hour at a time. So, oh, actually we need to look at the news for that day. So April 2nd, so this is a Friday. It's a big bank holiday. It's got a lot of news. So this would be a dangerous day to trade for the next couple hours. So as you can see, like there would have been this really whippy back and forth that it kept going up and down in these 20 pips. It's actually kind of a small movement for NFP, but I mean, it does happen now. And now it's just kind of consolidating in this little range. So I'm just gonna not take a trade that day. The news for today, or like April 6, 2021. So it's pretty bare. There's not much here. There's some red AUD news, but there's nothing on the GBP, JPY that seems to be noteworthy. So this is a Tuesday. This looks like a good day for normal trading. Okay, so with what we're looking at here, I mean, the 1 hour has been like this. So it's kind of been consolidating for the past little while, but this day has been going down by a lot. So right now it's a downtrend. I kind of want to take a sell here, but at the same time, it's been respecting this level. So before I take a trade, I'm either going to want to see that I want to see a candle close below this level. Okay, so looking back at the chart, we had some really nice 30-minute candles. This one went back up, but it did close bearish. I'm really thinking it's going to keep going down. Now, looking back, we basically entered the chart here. This was their first candle. And then as the first 15-minute went down, this would have been a great place to enter. We'd already be 15 pips into profit. But I kind of missed it, and that's okay. So now that we were already down here, this was a 30-minute close here. We were already at the bottom. It was a bad time to enter. So now where it went back up a little bit, created a new level, just broke it. So I'm thinking it's going to go down. So here we go. Taking a sell right here. Yes. I just want to thank everyone who supported me. Anyway, there you go. That was 10 pips right there. Awesome. So let's just fast forward a little bit and see how it would have kept going. Dang. So yeah, like I was saying, like on the 15 minute here, this would have been a great place to enter, but I missed it. Sorry, not here. At the close of this 15-minute candle, could have entered here. We would have been like 60, 70 pips in profit. But we waited for the, basically, if you just look at this here, exactly the same setup. Worked perfectly, took 10 pips, moved out, took 10 minutes, we're done. That being said, so right now I'm not really practicing with runners, but this would have been a great place for a runner. And because the thing is, sometimes the trade can, okay, in this particular case, it went all the way down, didn't really go back up, but sometimes it does whip back up. So it's important to lock in profits when you can. But leaving a runner, so if I would have closed 80% of my trade down here at 10 pips, and if I would have left another 20% of my trade to go down, say 40 pips, I mean, that would have been pretty good. I would have ended up at like 15 pips instead of 10, but it's just one of those things. But this was still a good trade, and that's going to be it for that. All right, April 7th is a Wednesday. This is the news for that day, April 7th, 2021. There's G20 meetings, so it could go either way, but it's a Wednesday. Should be a pretty decent day to trade. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I am thinking that a couple hours ago, basically, price has been consolidating, went down, came back up. It bumped against this level, but it plowed through it. Then it respected this resistance, came down, respected the support, broke out, faked back up into the range. So I'm thinking that I'm thinking it should go up and fill this range. Thinking, hoping, you know, whatever. So I think this is not a terrible place to take a buy. Okay, so now we're 15 minutes into the trade. We're 6 pips in the negative. 15 minute did close bearish. We're only a couple pips from our stop loss. Yeah, so the stop loss is at a bad place because it's not quite below the level. I kind of want to stop the trade, but I'm gonna let it run.
A few moments later.
All right, so there you go. Now I entered the trade too high, and I guess this here was the level after all. We are up 178 pounds, which would mean roughly 250 American dollars. So we took 4 trades and 2 losses, 2 wins. One was a partial loss, one was a complete loss, and so we're slightly up, but we're not in the negative, so there's that. So after 1 week of simulation trading, we're basically at break even. We're, like I said, we're just a little bit above 100,000. If you want to find out what happens next, check out our next video.